Yes, welcome everybody again. This is week 5 of Road to Certification. Thank you everybody for joining. I see a bunch of some of the usual suspects. Thank you so much for joining again. We're very pleased to have you one more session. We were just saying that this is the 5th session. We have one more session, official session to go. A couple more of office hours. So we just wanted to say thank you everybody for making it this far with us. For those of you again who complete all your badges, make sure to complete all your badges so that you can have the opportunity to get a voucher from us, courtesy of GDG Lawrence, GDG Capital Region, GDG Cloud Twin Cities, GDG Suncoast. All the collaborating chapters are here. So thank you everybody for sticking with us, accompanying us in this journey, learning the cloud. So thank you very much. And today's session will be led by none other than our very own Lionel Aaron De Souza. So he's one of the co-organizers of GDG Lawrence. Lionel, take it away.
Cool. Hello, guys. Thank you, Roman, and everyone, for giving me this opportunity to walk through what is the module 5, the section 5 of our course. And I'm going to briefly give a very high-level walkthrough on what are we going to cover in this course. So when you start learning what you can expect and what you are expected to do, so there, and I'll give you a very high-level idea about it. So currently we completed 4 sections on our journey, and this week we are aiming to complete the section 5. So this section will be reliable Google infrastructure and design process. So this is a section where I'll be walking you through putting all the pieces together. So you have learned about all the services which are, for creating pipelines to create your VMs, and all of this is coming together to build a complete application architecture. And you're going to see a big level picture of how your application is bringing this all together and making it work. So when you go through this course in Quick Labs, you will see every pieces you have learned this far in past weeks come together. This course is all about architecting, design, and process. It's all about implementing what you have learned so far and what services available on Google you can use to architect your application in the best way possible. Usually, when we think about building a software application, you go through a requirement gathering phase where you will determine who your end users are and who your application, who will be using your application and what your application is supposed to do and what your application is going to solve. So how it's going to benefit the user and how are you going to measure the success of your application, right? So this will be an iterative phase where you're going to list out all these points, and then you're going to measure the success of your application, and you will also know how important your application is when you put it out there. Um, Once you have figured out your users and your application and what your application is supposed to do, you can then begin with to start the overall design of your application, where you will learn the process of decomposition. The process of decomposition, nothing but breaking down a larger picture. Let's say you are building a transaction application, so you're breaking down this into smaller manageable units, maybe tackling just login part of it, or account details part of it, or user management part of it. So you're going to break down a larger application into smaller units or smaller chunks of work which can be independent. And you will also decide the architectural style which fits best for your application. So when you go through this module, you will see what you have chosen to pick. So they have already chosen for you in this to go with the microservices based architecture, but you are free to choose based on your application what best suits your application. You can build a hybrid application. You can also build serverless along with microservice. One of my applications which I'm working on utilizes serverless components and microservices. So it's up to you based on how you want to bring down the cost of your overall architecture. So you will learn to use objective criteria. That is to choose the best storage and deployment services based on the factors like what databases are you looking for. Maybe it's Google provides you a lot of options here. So it provides you relational, NoSQL, and maybe data warehousing if your application needs to do data warehousing or analytics. So they give you a lot of options, and you will be able to make a decision what fits best for your particular application. And you can leverage from Google's collection of available services on Google Cloud and consider some factors like how reliable your system is going to be, and the availability and the overall cost. Of course, cost is very important when you build an application. So you will be able to consider cost and build an architecture which will, which will be best suited for you. Security is also a very important thing to consider when you build our applications, and you will learn how to build a secure application when you're architecting something. Considering security in your requirements, you will learn how to choose the right security services which Google provides. And this is a shared responsibility. So when you architect your system, so you are thinking, how will I make my microservices or my users or my databases or everything very secure? And Google also takes the responsibility of how they will secure the physical hardware which Google provides you, where you will be running your application on. So there are multiple controls available for you for your disposal, and you can use them to build a very secure application for yourself. So the major important thing which I feel is monitoring and logging of your, to monitor your overall health of your application is also very important. So you have a bunch of services available where you can see how your application is doing, in the peak load times, that if some of the services which are in there are not really performing as you expect them to do. And you can also, these matrices I really feel can help you to go back and tweak your systems to, to perform a little better, or maybe you can replace certain services to make it perform as based on the matrices you see. So monitoring is something which also it will help you continuously improve and also monitor your overall health of your application. So some of the agenda of this course, when you do, is you can expect how to define your services. That is when I was talking about how you gather requirements, how the decomposition of requirement, a bigger picture into smaller manageable works, and then choosing the right architectural style. So here they have picked. You will be given a worksheet, and in this worksheet they have picked microservices design architecture, but you are free to choose based on your application needs what best suits for you. So there's also DevOps automation. DevOps is also very important. So when you build your application, you want to have an automated system which keeps deploying on the Google Cloud, and you will be able to test them. So development is also a DevOps pipeline. Is you will be able to put all the available services together to bring to build a automation pipeline. Choosing storage solutions. So Google has, like I mentioned, a lot of services storage options available. You will be able to pick the right one for your application. And building hybrid network architecture. This is where you consider adding load balancers if your application is a globally available application, or if you want to build an internal load balancer, or if you want to connect two different I think VPC or visit subnets, or using subnets, how to make your two VMs communicate with each other in a particular region or two different regions. So you'll learn all that in the network architecture section. Also deploying applications to the cloud, and building a system which is more reliable and always available. Again, thinking about security and maintenance and monitoring. So all this will be something which will be going through when you're going through this particular section. So like I briefly mentioned how you're going to gather your requirement. These are some of the important points to consider. So this is called the qualitative requirement phase, where you will be thinking about who the system will affect, both directly and indirectly. What is the problem you're trying to resolve with your application? Why is the solution needed? And the potential help, and this will potentially help you define KPIs. So the KPIs are something which help you measure how your the goals of your application. So once you have all these answered, who the system is, what it's going to do, and why, when, how, so you will be able to define your KPIs better for your application. So in quantitative is to measure, right? So you want to measure your success. So in a quantitative phase, you're going to tell how many people are required, how much time it's going to take, and how much money you're going to, all these three factors, they form three, they're 3 points of a triangle. So these are very important when you define a system. You cannot make it too expensive. You have to make sure that it's usable, and you should have a deadline. You cannot, how much time you're going to get the system getting launched at. So key performance indicators like KPIs, which I mentioned, these are very important important metrics where to measure the success of your application. So there are two different KPIs when you build your applications. One is the business KPI, and then there's the technical KPI. So business KPIs are usually based on the the business measurement. So where you are going to check how the return on investment based on your project or service is going to be, how the earnings are before the interest and taxes, and impact on the users, right? So you want to see how much impact your application is going to do for your particular user who you're building the application for. Technical can be your page views, like how many page views you're getting, how many users are coming there and registering, how easy it is for them to register, and also click-throughs and number of checkouts. So this can be technical KPIs for you to measure the technical success of your application. So once you have all these requirements structured, you will have now, you'll be able to now build applications which are independent and manageable. So in the picture, what I'm showing is the previously we were using a very monolithic kind of application where all the services like the orders, like in this, I think they are showing your e-commerce kind of website where there's a database, there's authentication there, the products, orders, reviews, data access, everything in one single system. And when you're deploying it, what you're going to do is you're going to package this entire system and you're going to deploy it. So the advantage of microservices is you're taking each service based on what its responsibility. So authentication is supposed to do just authentication, so it's a single responsibility. Products is supposed to do your inventory management or your list of all the products, or when you add to the cart or whatever it's a products is supposed to do. And reviews to manage all the user reviews, and orders are when you manage all the orders. So this can be independent responsibility, and you can contain them into individual services. So the best part of doing this kind of services, these are all independent, on its own. They are an application on itself, and they'll be communicating with each other to build this, to give you the same experience what the monolithic application was giving. But in this case, you can now decide an authentication service is one-time thing, right? So you do not want to give it a lot of CPU power, or maybe you do not want to give a lot of storage. It's just going to authenticate a user. That's the single responsibility. Whereas products might need a lot of heavy processing, storage. Orders might need a lot of heavy processing, because based on that you can customize each VMs, and that helps you reduce the cost. Another important advantage of building microservices is these can be independently built by different teams, right, or different members of the team, or however your team is thinking about building this. So these can be a single application on its own, and you're going to open endpoints where you can call the endpoints and make this application work as a whole. So once you have your code and application ready, this is building pipelines are very important. So as the developer finishes writing his code, he checks into a repository, and this code is going through all the unit tests, and it will create a Docker image or a package, and then you will be deploying this. So in a microservices architecture, it's always best to create every microservice in its own repository. So the best part of this is you do not have to package the entire application like a monolithic application when you're deploying it. What you can do is every single microservice can be a single application. So if you want to make any changes to one particular microservice, you can do that update, create a version for that, and release only that microservice in that particular cluster or wherever you want to deploy it. So that is the benefit of having a microservice-based architecture and having a continuous deployment pipeline. This is a slide where I'm showing you what databases are available in Google's portfolio. So Google has a wide variety of, they are categorized relational, NoSQL, object, warehouse, and in-memory databases. So based on what your application needs, you can pick the database which is fit for your particular application. So these are fully managed to scale and backed by Google's industry-leading SLAs. So these are going to perform, and they are always available. So the next slide, you'll see the availability SLA. This is service level agreement which Google goes with when you're picking one of their cloud storage or Span or Firestore. Their availability is 99.95. That is when it is available all the time, right? So your databases are are not going to go down on you. So that's the SLA which Google gives you. That's the guarantee they give you when you pick one of their services, database storage services. Another good part of Google Cloud is it's a very globally run. It's what do you call it? The Google hybrid. It's a hybrid network architecture section. You will start to see how the designing of cloud networks and load balances. The topics covered in this section is about designing VPC networks to optimize cost, security, and performance. So you will learn how to create load balances and both for both global and locally in your particular internally, as well as if your application is global, you will be able to create load balances so that your application is available with low latency. So if you see this map, the blue dots which you see, these are all the regions that are available. The blue icons are all the regions that are available, and the tiny the blue dots you see are the point of presence. So the point of presence is where the Google is connected to the internet, and the blue lines are the global network. So it's very vast and it's very well connected. And it's and the white icons are the futurists. I believe some of these regions are already available right now, but then these are all the global networks that are available for you, the regions that are available for you. So in global cloud VPC networks, you can either create an auto mode network and have one subnet per region, or create your own custom mode network where you get to specify which region to create a subnet in. The resources across regions can communicate using internal IP addresses without any added interconnect. Like in the diagram which you see on the right, the two subnets are in two different regions with a server on each subnet. They can communicate with each other using the internal IP addresses because they are connected to the same VPC network. So when you use, in order to make sure your services are resilient and reliable, you will implement something called as a load balancer. Like the name says, it balances the load on the services. There are two different types of load balancing options available to you. One is the global load balancer, and then the other one is internal load balancing. If your services are deployed globally, you will use a global load balancer, and if your services are deployed in a particular region, then you would probably implement something called as an internal load balancer. So let's say in your application you use a global load balancer. You could then enable something called as a Cloud CDN for lower latency. That decreases the egress cost. So when you enable CDN, Google will cache your static content worldwide using edge caching locations. This will make sure your application or your static contents are loading faster when accessed to a particular region because it is cached in those particular regions. These are these are some of the other topics in the module you will learn. There are certain topics related to security and monitoring health, and what applications you can use or services you can use to create this kind of a complete architecture. So the worksheet, you'll be given a worksheet when you start the first course, and it will walk you through each step and provide detailed explanation on what you're expected to do. I think this course module will definitely help you see all the pieces coming together and give you an overall picture of how the whole architecture comes comes to work. So yeah, so this is all I had to cover. So yeah, the next topics which for the next coming weeks would be we'll be covering the getting started with Google Kubernetes engine. And so hopefully what I covered today is going to help you. I did try to cover most of it. So if you have any questions, I can take them now, or maybe Roman, you can continue from here.
Definitely. Thank you, Lionel. That this was an amazing review. Again, we wanted to make it very high level, just so that at least for those of you who haven't taken week 5's badge and the learning material in there, this is pretty much what it covered. And you see how, even though we're taking less badges as we move forward, it's actually now getting a little bit more deep into the bowels of the cloud. And just like Lionel mentioned, and Kevin, I saw that he was also chiming in there. You see how, and even Elaine mentioned it. So these are some of the aspects that make you a more like a well-rounded cloud practitioner. Why? Because there are some those indicators and those things that need to be taken into consideration. So it's not just about you knowing about the cloud and knowing about how to, oh, let me just create a compute engine instance, or let me stand up a Kubernetes cluster or something like that. No, they want you to know what's best for which situation, what is more cost effective, what is more resource effective. So those are some of the aspects that not just knowing about the technology itself, or just being, oh yeah, let me go and I can do a lot of commands in the cloud shell. No, they rather have you as an expert to consult those type of things that are really critical for today, in today's let's say in today's field, as far as like the landscape. That's what I mean, in today's landscape, as far as like cloud consumption. So Lionel, thank you so much. You definitely went all over some important topics in there, and we just wanted to give you kudos and a round of applause for walking us through that a week 5 review. So does anybody have any questions around, again, some of the things that we already discussed? I see that some of you, again, are really well on your way to, again, becoming the next generation of professionals, experts in the cloud, and whatnot. So anything around, anything that we've covered through even these weeks that you have any questions about, are you blocked by anything that you want to ask us? This is the opportunity for you to ask those questions. Just wanted to open up the mics for everybody. Oh, I forgot that we don't have mics in this situation. So, I mean, you can drop your questions. You can just ping us. Hey, Muhammad, always a pleasure having you here. Yes, exactly. You need to understand the bigger picture. And again, Muhammad, I see you like a truly, again, like a pioneer in your field. You're a young up and coming, not only a developer, but an engineer. So keep up that. Again, you're continuing your journey. Definitely kudos to you for also showing up. Also, I wanted just to get highlight someone else in here that I said, John. I noticed that you're really well on your way on getting all your badges completed. So, John, I just wanted to give you kudos for completing a lot of your badges and catching up. You're definitely an example for the GDG Hudson Valley. So you should definitely spread the word in there and be proud of that. So. Definitely, you've come a long way in your journey. So thank you so much. And of course, cannot forget some of the other folks that are here that are already some of the veterans. Paul, Kevin, those of you guys are really well on your way to becoming not only for this certification, like the ACE, the Associate Cloud Engineer certification, but I think you guys are ready to take the next step in your careers in becoming the architects that you guys are. So any questions you want to leave in there, Elaine, Kevin, anything that you guys want
to? Not really. I think what they covered this set week 5 is covered a lot about the microservices, but some of the microservices going to be the infrastructure. Why we're talking about the Google Kubernetes and GKE. That's the next topic that we're going to be talking about next week.
Yes.
The design process actually mentioned some of those.
Oh yeah, that's a preview. Again, guys, Kevin is going to honor us with his knowledge in the next session in 2 weeks from now. So Kevin is going to be leading that session. That is going to be the last one. Look at that. We're going to be embarking on week 6. So 2 weeks from now, if you guys are all cut up, you can start taking a look. It's one of the most exciting ones. I love Kubernetes. I love the capabilities of even like serverless containers, how GKE works, how Kubernetes in essence works. And you can learn about like really cool things like how all that orchestration works. Is pretty cool. So Kevin is going to be leading that session. Is a not to be missed type of session, and it's going to be our last formal session. After that, we're going to have a couple more again office hours. Again, even if you ask, we can have a couple more office hours if some of you feel like you want to prepare with us, because I am going to go take this certification again, the cloud, the Associate Cloud Engineer. I'm going to take that one as well. I know a few folks in here are going to do it as well. So, hey, let's be all together in that journey. Let's learn together. Let's do that. Also, I wanted to extend the invitation for those of you who also want to learn more about cloud tomorrow. I don't know, Lionel, if you can share that link that I just dropped in there. Tomorrow, Friday, if you are not partying tomorrow, or if if you don't have anything to do tomorrow, you can join a session that I will be leading. It's going to be a workshop, code lab, code along session where we're going to be discussing microservices in the Google Cloud using Docker and Firebase. That's unheard of, and I was able to make it into a code lab. So for those of you who want to join our session tomorrow, is online only, is sponsored by GDG Cloud Silicon Valley. Also, of course, I'm representing GDG Lawrence, but it's for them. But I am, in there to provide my expertise. Also, some other GDGs are part. But here we're going to be doing a code along, follow along type of workshop where you will walk away learning in the Google Cloud using the free tier. We're going to be deploying Docker containers in the Cloud Shell. So again, that's going to be really fun. So you're going to be able to create a full-blown application using the microservices strategy. And also I'm going to be discussing micro front ends, which is another topic that is kind of hot in the industry. You're like, what the hell is micro front ends? Well, micro front ends is also like another type of way that you can divide your user interface into multiple isolated, decoupled entities that then you can bring together in one single application on top of the microservices, kind of riding the microservices, with bandwagon. So we're going to be discussing Docker. We're going to learn about containers. We're going to be building our own containers. You're going to walk away building your own application. So it's going to be living in your cloud environment. So at the end of this session, you're going to walk away with the expertise so that you know what the heck is a container. How do I build a container? You're going to learn how to build containers. What the heck is microservices? You're going to learn about microservices again as a high level overview, but you will get hands-on experience for that. You will also learn about micro front ends. We will also be discussing that. Oh, John asks, how long is that session going to be? So it's going to be 1 hour and an hour and a half session. We're going to have like a break in between, but at least that is enough time for you to get enough knowledge to do some damage in the Google Cloud, in the free tier. And you're going to learn how to, again, like I said, build microservices, learn about Docker, containers, build your own images, create the that micro front end thing that is like, what the heck is all the hype about microservices and micro front end? We're going to demystify all of that tomorrow. So if some of you, again, you're still pumped up about cloud knowledge and you want to get a little more, please come and accompany us in this session tomorrow, Friday. It's 7 p.m. Eastern time. For those of you in Eastern time, is 4 p.m. Pacific time. So again, just wanted to extend the invitation there. If anybody wants to join, we'll be there hanging out. There will be raffles. There will be really cool stuff. And they're going to be using one environment called Gather. So they're not going to do it in Webby. It's something called Gather. It's like a interactive conference type of tool that you can walk around. You have like your little avatar. You can walk around, talk to people. It's a pretty cool conference type of online environment. It's very popular like nowadays. So just wanted to extend the invitation to those of you who wanted to join.
Hey, Roman, that's going to be great. Actually, I'm not able to make it. So tomorrow, will it be recorded for this session?
Oh, yes, it will be recorded, and definitely, of course. And I will be able to, or if you guys want to do it, I can do this same session just for you guys here in GDG Lawrence. So let's do that. Let's actually do that. If any one of you misses it, like if you want to do it tomorrow, cool. If you want to do it again, even better, because you get more experience. So what I can do, I will set it up with them, and then maybe in the future we can definitely set up one session just like this, microservices in the Google Cloud using Docker and Firebase, only for GDG Lawrence, and then we will do it exclusively for you guys. We just wanted to extend the invitation, and if anybody wanted to join
Hey, can we add that as an? Are you thinking about adding it as another section? Sorry,
not to this campaign. It would be just another isolated event. So it would be not an event on this one because we need to complete this cycle and we need to again support people in their journey. So we wrap this program up and then we create like another event later on.
Sounds
So
good.
yeah, totally just wanted to extend the invitation. And yeah, so any other questions from anybody? Again, Lionel, thank you so much for that great overview. Make sure, can you put the RTG, the our badge tracker real quick?
Oh,
I
yes.
wanted to again remind folks, make sure to get your badges. We are saving 10 badges, 10 vouchers for the top 10 people who do it. If it's less than 10, everybody's gonna get it. If we have more than that, we're gonna have to raffle it. But yes, just make sure that everybody gets all their badges completed, not just to go and take the certification, but also to get again the knowledge that you need in today's landscape. Like I said, it increases your employability. It makes you more hot in the industry. Recruiters are gonna blow up your LinkedIn just sending you messages once you put that certification there. Yeah, you're gonna get a lot of that. That's for sure. I see one new member, Kokila. Hi, Kokila. How are you? She's dropping her link in there. Thank you for joining. Again, even if you join today, I'm telling you guys, you're not late to join the party if you want to become part of this cohort of people who are taking the certification. Everybody's welcome. And even if you join today, you're gonna get 3 months free of Google Cloud Skills access. So that's the really cool thing about joining these sessions, because even if you RSVP to either one of these sessions, you're gonna get the 3 months free for that. So Kokila, if you wanna maybe circle back with us, can we drop the link to the Slack? So for those of you who are new, you can join our Slack channel. I don't know if you have it there, Lionel, or maybe Linda,
I
if
think
you're
so.
backstage, if you can just drop the link to the Slack. You can drop the link to the Slack, and then you can join. Those of you who are new, you can join our Slack channel. We'll give you all the resources. You can continue where we can help you in your journey. And if you're having any issues connecting and getting the credits from Cloud Skills Boost, make sure that circle back with us. We'll hook you up. Make sure that you do get those credits. John is dropping the thing in there. Also, sweet. Yeah, that is a thing. Lionel is dropping the link to the Slack channel. And yeah, I think this was a very short but very productive session. If nobody else has any questions, we can wrap it up. Wish you an amazing rest of the week. You can again tomorrow, if some of you want to join me, you guys are welcome. I'll see you tomorrow. Please stay in touch with us through the Slack. Continue closing those badges, getting those badges. If you want to be featured in the badge tracker, send me or send us your badge profile, your public Cloud Skills Boost profile, so we can add you there. But yeah, this is pretty cool. Oh, I see other people. Yeah, Devere, welcome. Samina, of course, she's a regular already. So Samina, he says, do we need to finish all of them to get the voucher for the exam? Yes, the condition is to get them all. Once you get them all, again, you have pretty much a month to get them all. If you really want to step up your game and do that. But like I said, we want to give a little bit more of an extension, like until October. We're going to do a couple more office hours. And if you still want to continue getting those badges, go ahead. And then you will get that voucher that we are promising. But yes, the key is to get all the badges. Again, I see a couple other new folks, like I said, Devere, Samina, she's a regular, but Devere and Kokila, you guys are new. Welcome to the team. Make sure to join our Slack channel, and then we'll help you from there. So thank you, everybody. Again, not required to come tomorrow. It's just an invitation, but make sure that again, get those badges, continue getting those badges throughout these couple of weeks, that until next session where Kevin is gonna be leading that session. Okay, great.
Thank you so much, Roman, Lionel. Thank you
Hey,
for
Roman, I did have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Lionel. Yeah.
So
let's stop the recording. Just wanted to say thank you,
Yeah.
everybody. We'll see you in the next session. Stopping the recording.